What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 176 of the Rise to Glory here at Gibraltar Apex. And today it is Champions League time. It's the first knockout round. We're in February, and well, it's been a pretty nice Christmas period. If you missed last episode, we talked a little bit about perhaps the future of Gibraltarian football. In the January transfer window, there was over £196 million spent by teams in Gibraltar, of which we did spend 20 million of that. So on that note, let's have a look at the transfers real quick for us. In terms of players we brought in, there were 3 players really that we added that you didn't see last episode. The first one, Cesar Leonardo, just a little bit of a useful kind of a centre-back really. Not the best in the air, but he's a fairly kind of physically strong centre-back, quite imposing. He's got good heading as well. Really comes in just to add a bit of backup in the side. Anyway, the other players we brought in, a familiar name in Villalba. Some of you guys probably remember this guy. He was at the club for a few years, many moons ago now. He came in for £3.3 million back then. We've brought him in now for £12 million. We've perhaps overpaid a little bit, but we needed to fill a void in our side with a player who I will talk about who left, which was Graffiti. And, well, Villalba, he's going to come in, he's going to do that job for us. The last player we brought in, Alberto Romero, familiar name. Really, this was a tactical signing more than anything. He announced he was going to retire at the end of the season. Obviously, he's not retired from international football, but he was just going to retire from football full stop. I basically asked him, would you be interested in coming to Gibraltar Apex for one kind of last hoorah with us? He agreed, so he's not going to be retiring for another year now, which is really nice. We decided just to sign him in January for £8,000, so hopefully with that £8,000 deal done, all the people who were moaning at me for not spending money sooner are going to be a little bit happier. Obviously, with those transfers, Leonardo came in for £8.5 million. He's a good young player, so he's got some potential in Villalba. Obviously, very capable of playing either full-back position for £12 million. It's a little bit of money spent. I know people are going to want me to spend way more, and to be honest, I nearly made a £130 million transfer, but unfortunately the kind of contract side of things collapsed. The player in question with that deal, if I just quickly show you, it was Laral. That's probably not how you say his name, but this guy from Real Madrid. He has a £130 million release clause. I met it. We talked contracts. And ultimately, I left the deal to the last day of the transfer window, really, and I just couldn't free up the money to get him a contract he'd be happy with. Who knows? He might be a player I'd get in the nearer future. He's a very, very good playmaker, such a good centre mid, a bit like the Pogba of 2038 in a lot of ways, and he's a player who I'd love to sign in. Of course, 25 years old, as you can see, but he's a very consistent performer, enjoys big matches. And, well, if we could get him in the club, he'd be a great signing. And he can also play left midfield, which is always a nice little bonus. But, yeah, a player who I have looked at getting. If the opportunity presents itself in the summer, again, we'll probably go in for him and see what we can do. Anyway, really quickly on the outs, there were quite a few players who left. I'm going to go through them kind of fairly briefly. I talked about a few of these last episode, but some of the newer ones to go. Ivan Garcia went to Manchester 62 for £5 million. Jerome Toll went for £9 million to Manchester 62. Of course, a player who we signed this year to be backup. He complained about the fact he was being backup. He's 28 years old. He's not getting any younger. I figured, give him to Manchester 62. They can make better use of him potentially in Europe, as he hadn't played in Europe for us. So hopefully that works out for them. He's not a cheap deal for them, but it's a player nevertheless. They also loaned in a few players, as did College Europa. They got Edson. Manchester 62 took in Soto. They are 2 strikers. One is Edson is Brazilian. Soto is Spanish. They're the players I kind of brought in with the hope they might take up Gibraltarian nationality, so a loan to a fellow Gibraltarian side suits me. Van Berlo left to go to Lincoln Red Imps for £7.5 million. A really good kind of talented young centre mid. A player we brought in quite a few years ago now. Last year he was on loan at College Europa. He played fairly well in that time. £7.5 million. A decent fee received really. And I am hoping that he will be a good player for Lincoln Red Imps because he's a player with some potential. Never really got a first-team opportunity at us. Another player who's left is in Varkson. He has gone to College Europa for £2.5 million. Kind of a similar deal in a lot of ways. A player who is kind of the backup of all backups, of course. We brought this guy in this year for £4.2 million. I've made a loss off him. It's the second time I've made a loss off him selling him. I kind of brought him in to be backup, but what you will see shortly when we go to the squad pages, a lot of the younger players, the likes of Dominic Eller, Vincinius, etc., those kind of players, they are all considered homegrown now, and a few of them fall into the under 21 category, which if you don't know, in the Champions League, if a player has been at your club for 3 years before the age of 21 and they're still under 21, they don't have to be registered to play. And we have a few players who have now fallen into that bracket previously because we signed them towards the end of the transfer windows. During the kind of opening phase of the Champions League, they didn't fall into that bracket, but now they do because they've been at the club long enough. So that was really good there. And it meant that I could afford to sell perhaps a few of the other players in the side. Anyway, Graffiti left for £500,000, as I alluded to earlier. We've let him go cheap. He's going to benefit from first team football. He's only 29, of course. He might even be 30 now. He is only 29. Turning 30 this year, though. I wasn't expecting to get a lot of money for him. I think it's going to benefit him. The fact he's hopefully going to be getting some regular first team football. Of course, a national team player and a player who needs football really to develop. And as we move through this team, Cameron Logan left for 300k to go to Lynx. He was one of the players I brought in, I believe, last year from the Championship. One of the worst of those players. The last two transfers that might stand out. Two big deals, actually, to Gibraltar Phoenix. They dug deep in their kind of pockets towards the end of the window. And on deadline day, they signed Jean-Francois Claus and Carlos Reyes in a kind of a double deal, really, for £26 million. Two players who... I don't know, I didn't really want to sell these guys, but I feel like I've got better young players in the same positions, and for that reason, it kind of made logical sense if I could get some good money for them to let them go. Obviously, the fact I'm selling them to a Gibraltarian side is always a bonus, and additionally, with it being Gibraltar Phoenix, a side who are kind of an emerging power really in Gibraltar, having only been promoted to the Primera Division this year, I'm hoping they're really going to benefit from it. So Klaus, the first player to go, 19 years old, a very talented player. To be honest, a player who I didn't really want to let go. If we just look at his transfer, he has a minimum release fee of £23 million, which is worth noting. And with his sale, we do have a deal in place whereby we receive a fairly hefty percentage of any future transfer. I think it's at 35%. So if he was to be sold for that release fee, you know, we're still going to be getting in the region of about £10 million from him. So, all in all, that's a deal for the future. Carlos Andres Reyes, or Juan Carlos Reyes, I'm just adding Carlos out of nowhere. But no, this guy Reyes, a player who's been at the club a while. I kind of held on to him with the hopes he'd become a Gibraltarian international. He recently played for Colombia. He's a good defensive midfielder, but he's nothing to stand out. Nothing that we haven't already got in the side, really. At 20 years old, not getting any younger. I feel like to get £8.5 million, really can't complain about that. We brought him in for 600k a few years ago now, but nice to get a little bit of money from that deal. So anyway, as you can see, total fee received this year, £120 million. 60 million made in total. I talked about the fact that some other teams have spent some pretty hefty money this year. You can see Gibraltar Phoenix ended up spending kind of 52 million, of course. Two of those transfers were for our players that made up the bulk of that. College Europa were pretty busy in the transfer window. They signed 9 new players in January. You can see they got in a few players, including this guy, Aiden, from Manchester City for about £8 million. He's 23 years old, good English player. Hopefully he'll stick around and, of course, play for the national team here. They also signed Ronald Leon, who's a fairly good player, Salvadorian, who they signed from Juventus. And yeah, a lot of these teams made those kind of deals. If we look at Manchester 62, they were the kind of surprise spenders in a lot of ways. They brought in Sergio Oliveira, who is a young Argentine goalkeeper playing regularly for the under-21 side at national level. And they also brought in Jack Gardner, who's another English striker. They got him from, if we check here, Swansea City, £18 million paid. He's already scored 3 goals and got 4 assists in his opening 6 games. So it looks like he's going to be a good player for them. But it kind of gives you an idea just of the money that is now starting to be spent, and it's kind of super exciting to see it develop. In terms of our fixtures since the last episode, as you will see here, we actually drew 2 league games. We drew against College Europa 1-1. We actually took the lead in this game early on. They fought back. Looking at the stats, we were dominant, but they stuck around, they hung around, is what I'm trying to say. They stuck at it, did College Europa, and they got a hard-earned point. We also drew against Manchester 62 0-0. Similar kind of situation, this one. We bossed the game. We had a few younger players playing here and there, but to be honest, it was a fairly full-strength side. I do get the feeling that our kind of long unbeaten run in the Premier Division is going to be ending sooner rather than later. It's also worth noting that in the Rock Cup second round against Gibraltar Phoenix, who I talked about having spent a lot of money getting promoted this year, we relied on extra time. Granted, we went through 2-0 in the end, but we struggled to break them down in opening play and in open play in the first 90 minutes. In extra time, Moscow and Bismarck really had an impact on the game. Both those players coming on off the bench, the fresh legs really kind of working out in our favour. So anyway, today we take on Juventus. We actually are going to have the, of course, double header of the first and second leg. There's a little bit of a gap in between. Of course, we're going away from home to Juventus in this first game. And yes, for some of you wondering, they do still have the familiar name. There's Walter Del Sol kind of commanding their centre-back position. And they also have Ernesto Vergara, who is a name who should hopefully ring a few bells. He's actually out for 6 to 8 weeks, so we're not going to have to worry about him. He's one of their big key players. They signed him for 52 million from PSG, of course, a player who served at us for 2 years. We got £32 million for him, which seemed pretty good At the time, you can see PSG turned a fairly hefty profit, though, for him. And unfortunately, he is their key player. And, well, Sergio Ramos is not going to have him at his disposal today. So anyway, let's get into into today's game. It's still ridiculously hot in England, if you're wondering. And I feel like my brain is struggling to comprehend life right now. Anyway, this is the team we're going to go with, which might look a little bit different to usual. I've made the decision to play Giroud and Douze as out-and-out strikers. Giroud is a complete forward on support, and Douze, who would normally play as a poacher role in this position, or certainly in this system, whoever plays this side would play in the poacher role. I've decided to play Douze as a centre-forward attack. That means that Gilvan is going to come in and play the centre attacking midfielder position for us. If we look at it, though, Gilvan is just such a good attacking midfielder. My assistant doesn't rate him, and this is perhaps a prime example of where sometimes your assistants and coaches just don't get it right. If you look at Gilvan, obviously the attributes highlighted in blue are the key kind of attributes for the role. 18 first touch, 16 passing, 16 technique, 16 off the ball, 16 decisions, 15 anticipation. Very capable of playing this position for us, certainly. Anyway, midfield, Volsky, Mini Mosca, and Ella. Yes, this is a massive game for Dominic Ella. 19 years old, a player we've really been bedding into the team. And here he is, and this is his moment to really shine on the big stage for us. He's going to be playing as a complete forward on support, which if I just show you, is a role that really suits his ability. Great first touch, great passing, great vision, great technique. Also worth noting, he's got some great PPMs. He's got dictates tempo, avoids using weaker foot, tries long range passes. He has the passing range to be able to go for the ambitious balls. And I'm really excited to hopefully see how he can do kind of playing in that right centre mid position for us. We, of course, have Mini Mosca holding the fort. I didn't click on Giroud or Douze, but just so you can see how they're getting on. Here we have Giroud, still improving a little bit, the 24-year-old. Definitely the best player in the squad. He is kind of Ronaldo-esque for us. He is that player we rely on so much as a creative outlet. Douze, of course, doing well as well himself, 24 years old. Not really looking forward to playing against those two players in the World Cup as the Gibraltar manager. And at the back, it's the back four. It's Ludwig Young and then Kabasele, Assad, Mustafa and Gaiganov. So no injuries really to speak of, which is particularly pleasing. Obviously, Juventus without Vergara is a massive miss for them. We have got one injury which actually comes in the form of Horst, who's currently out injured. For a little while, actually, with a dislocated shoulder. He was out for 2 months. Juan, who is our younger centre-back as well, also out. That does mean on the bench, our only centre-back option we really have to fall back on is Gonzalez. I really don't want to have to play this guy at centre-back because he's not very good at the role. It's not a position that I've brought him in to play. He is very much our versatile wing-back. Of course, other players on the bench, we've got Villalba, not cup-tied, so that was another reason to kind of try and bring him in. We also have Thiago, who can offer us a defensive midfielder option. We have Junior, the right midfielder, actually been out for a little while with an injury. I can't remember what the injury was now. It was a damaged foot, out for 2 weeks. He's still not 100% match fit, but definitely capable of coming on off the bench if we need him to. The final options we've got Paul Smith, an aging Paul Smith now at 33, but still capable of making a difference. And two striking goal-scoring options, really. The first, Glenn Andre, the Frenchman, looking very, very good now, if I might say so myself. Kind of continuing to develop, probably our fourth best striker really at this point, and we also have Mosca on the bench as well, so we have some real goal-scoring prowess kind of at our disposal if we want to use it. Anyway, let's get into this game, let's submit our team. Juventus are the favourites for this match. Looking at their team, they're not playing with Del Sol, he's on the bench for them. He's not as good as I remember him being, Walter Del Sol. He's 31 years old now, to be fair to him. Getting on just a little bit. Looking at their team, they've got Van der Berg. He's going to be the striker to watch out for. Very good in the air. They've also got Stefan, who's going to be playing as the centre attacking mid. Not too terrifying, to be honest. Definitely missing Vergara in that specific position. Their goalkeeper for today's game, Matias Benitez. Again, nothing too standout. Maybe famous last words being said here. I kind of look through this Juventus side, and it doesn't terrify me. Of course, they finished second in their Champions League group. They've got some older players there. I do feel like Vergara is a massive, massive miss for them, though. He definitely adds a real spark into the team. We aren't the underdogs, though, still. I'm going to try and remind the players of that, try and encourage them going into this first leg. Away from home, of course, always important that you give a good start. It's actually worth knowing that Kabasele's condition is around 83%, which is very, very low. The reason for me playing him here, and the reason it is so low, is because he's been out with a cold, bless him. So we sent him home for a week. And he's still recovering a little bit from that. He's still a little bit chesty. But hopefully he can kind of stick it out for the opening of this game. Certainly 82% condition. Perhaps the lowest condition I'd ever really consider playing a player on. You may remember when we, of course, took on Italy as Gibraltar. Had a few players around 80 there. Cabaselli on a booking as well is a little bit concerning because of how tired he is. We don't want any lazy tackles going in. Might be a player who I have to take off at half-time, if not sooner. Took a little bit of a risk, I guess, in playing him, but with him on a yellow card, it kind of puts me off a little bit. It leaves me a little bit uneasy, I guess you could say. Also worth noting, Mini Mosca playing that centre mid-defend role, also getting a booking early on. Not really what we want to see here. We've got to maintain our discipline. What we really don't want to do is go a goal behind, or a man behind against Juventus. Of course, going a goal behind wouldn't be great either, but if we were to go down to 10 men, that would be a real serious problem, and we might have issues. Looking at this game, 35 minutes gone, anything but a classic so far. Juventus have had more of the ball, but either team yet to hit the target, and well, at half-time, it's not been great. You'd have to say we've had a few more shots. I don't think you can read too much into that. I'm going to bring in Villalba to play left-back. Mustafa on a booking as well. He's going to have to be careful. Mosca on a booking too. We do have Thiago, who we can bring on to play that centre mid-defend role, but I'm a little bit tentative and a little bit uncomfortable, I guess, with the prospect of using 2 subs at half-time in this game. We want to hold on to them because we might need to change the game drastically. Either way, we are going to have a highlight in this game, so I was getting a little bit worried nothing would happen. It's us on the attack. Gil Van Doos hits it, saved away. Giroud with a rebound, back into the middle. Cleared away by Juventus. That was a good opportunity for us, a half chance, and it is the first time that the target's been hit. As we are going forward again, Villalba can't quite pick out his man, of course. He is on as a sub at left back. Guy got off now. Giroud looked offside. He's not, though, and he buries it, and he makes it 1-0, the Belgium. It's a lovely goal. Guy got off with the assist. The ideal start, really, to this second half. Juventus, they've been a little bit lacking in this game. They've had that one shot, as I mentioned. They have had more of the ball, but it is us who strike first in this game. I thought the initial chance had really gone. It was a half-decent opportunity, but that ball through by Gaiganov to Giroud, a nice one. Giroud perhaps a little bit fortunate with the way the ball fell down to him. A missed tackle, certainly, by the Juventus defence there. But regardless, he capitalised on that situation, seized the loose ball, and fired it home. And, well, half an hour left in this game. Juventus, they have now had 1 shot on target, so we'll give them a round of applause for that. But this is, of course, the kind of game where when you're 1 goal ahead, you don't feel comfortable. You want to build upon that, particularly when you're on top in a game like this away from home. Away goals could be important, and we are on the attack again. Giroud hits it. Benitez with the save turns it round the post. That was another half chance coming our way. We've still yet to have a clear-cut chance. It's just fortunate, I guess, that we've had some good finishing. And we've been able to kind of take that one opportunity that was like a great opportunity, really. They are on the attack here, Juve. It's not going to lead to anything. 17 minutes left. Do I want to change things? Do I want to alter this game? Well, I've not done it. And now Juventus on the attack. Walter Del Sol. You animal. He's come on off the bench, the centre-back. Our former man. It's typical of FM, isn't it? It's his first goal of the season, the centre-back. And, of course, it's against us. It's a big looping header. He's always great in the air. I mean, Ludwig Young has completely mistimed that jump in a horrific manner. And, well, Juventus have seized on that. Let's make some changes. Doos is having a poor game. I'm going to bring on Mosca. Mini Mosca's also struggling, but he is on a good rating. Gilvan at centre attack in mid hasn't been great. I am going to drop Giroud into centre attack in mid, and I am going to bring on Glenn Andre to play as a striker. And we're also going to return Mosca to the usual poacher's role in this system. 15 minutes left in this game. We have been the better side. Obviously, that set-piece goal, a bit of a kick in the teeth, and it could be another one here. Juventus whip it in back post. It's another set-piece. It's another goal. This time it's Didier Clement who gets the goal, and, well, that one away goal is looking like kind of very little consolation. Juventus, 3 shots on target, 2 goals. It's disappointing defending from the set piece, it has to be said. They get another goal from nothing, really. And in a game that we have bossed, we have been the better team in, we are going to find ourselves probably going to go down unless there's a late chance here. Volsky can't get it there. Bilbao collects. Ruiz now to Stefan. I mean, let's not concede again, really. 2-1, it's not a terrible result. If we can give this level of performance at home, I'm confident we can take a few more of the opportunities that come our way. But it is going to finish 2-1 here to Juventus. Food for thought, certainly. I'm not particularly happy with how that game went down. 2 set-piece goals against us. I feel like there's not a lot that changing the actual tactical system could have done. It's bitterly disappointing, obviously, but it does make me feel like in the next leg, if we can finish, if we can really use that home advantage in our advantage, we should be able to still come out on top in it. But anyway, not ideal, guys. We have another game to get to. Giroud got man of the match. Really says a lot for the overall quality of this game. Let's go forward. The next game is not for another, well, basically 3 weeks. We've got a little way to recover, kind of collect ourselves, go into a bit of deep thought, reflect upon this game, and hopefully come back in the second leg and give a much improved performance. Okay, guys, so we are back here for the second game of today's episode, and I have news. Big news. If you don't know, in Football Manager, you can get a son. And the requirements for this, I do believe, are you have to have a manager over the age of 35. Obviously, I'm 47 here. And there is a very, 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 very slim chance that on a youth intake, you'll have a son. What you can do to somewhat cheese this is save the day before regen day and repeatedly reload. I decided to do this, and I know that some people are going to complain about the fact I reloaded. I think it's important to note that this took me 8 hours, and also the fact I saw some really good youth players appear in my academy who I passed up on to get a son. So shall we take a look at him? 8 hours of work. He's in the first team. I mean, he scored on his debut, and it's this guy, Brendan the Space. Look at him. He's terrible. Yeah. Here he is. He's 16, is Brendan. 14 finishing, 10 composure, I don't know, 11 off the ball. That doesn't look that bad. He's unsporting, just like his father. And, well, if we look at his coach report here, he could improve a lot in the future. He's fairly skillful. His ability to do the unexpected is one of the main abilities for him to be able to get past his man. And he's an international, of course, on the Gibraltar manager. I may have snuck him in the squad for the upcoming friendly we have against Australia. Is he any good? No. Will he get better? Probably not. He's just kind of here, isn't he? He can finish, and he has a bit of flair, but that's about it. I can't think he'll be playing too many games in Europe for us. We might throw him in as a sub in the odd league game here and there. And as I said, he did score on his debut, which was the most recent game. It was a 5-0 win against Cannons. We also beat Gibraltar Phoenix 1-0 and College Europa 5-1. So some good results there. College Europa to beat them 5-1 is really good, because they are kind of the second team right now in the division. If you look at it here, they are second. It's worth noting Manchester 62 have played less games than them, actually, and a win for them would see them go second. And actually, for Lincoln Red Imps, they could also leapfrog College Europa. It really is tight at the top of the Primera Division. It's been a really exciting season, really, for Gibraltarian football fans. Either way, with Brendan by our side, we need to go marching into today's game, and we are taking in on Juventus, of course, in the second game against them. In terms of the team, this is the squad we're going with. I'm sticking with the 4-3-1-2. I do feel like we were very, very unfortunate last time we met Juve, and this is the team that I think is going to do it for us. So Ludwig Young in goal, nothing too surprising there. The back four is pretty much the normal. There is one change, Assad, Mustafa and Gaiganov. Villalba has to come in at left back. That is because Cabasele is suspended for this game, but Villalba, a very good left back, is right footed, but so is Cabasele, so we're kind of used to having that in the left back position. Of course, an experienced international with Argentina, and a very good backup to have in the side, and he slots in quite nicely here. In midfield, in the box-to-box midfielder role, we go with Gilvan. Alongside him in the advanced playmaker role, we have Volsky. Holding the fort in the centre, it's of course Mini Mosca. And then our final men in the final third, we're going to start with Glenn Andre at centre attacking mid for today's game. The 19-year-old just been so good for us. He's developed amazingly. He really has been exciting to watch, I guess, this guy just develop as a whole. You kind of highlight some of his key attributes. You can see they've all improved over time. Particularly his agility, that's really improved. It started off at 12.6, it's now at 16.8. That's fantastic progress to make over, well, about 2 years. It's been great for him, obviously. Plenty of first team football. I'm hoping that for us today he can really give it another great performance in that centre attacking mid role. Up front, that means we are going to be going with Sebastian Girard, and alongside him Mosca. On the bench we've got Duz, who can definitely come on and make an impact. But no, very, very happy with the squad, very happy with our team. We've got some good options on the bench as well. I am going to make 1 or 2 changes, I think, because I do want some centre mids on the bench. That would kind of be useful. But we're going to have Vincinius, Junior, Gonzalez, Juan. Do I want a sub-goalkeeper? I don't think I do. We'll make a change there. I'm probably going to put Thiago on. So we've got a defensive midfielder as an option. We've, of course, got the left and right wing sorted with Junior and Smith. So if we do want to switch to a wider formation, we've got the option to do that. But anyway, we do need to step things up. We did get a good away goal, of course, against Juventus in that 2-1 defeat. But today, this game is a big one. We're at home. We're at the Space Park. We're down a goal, and well, we've got to make a fight back here and try and make what would be a really good comeback. Of course, we have made the Space Park a little bit of a fortress over the years, and I'm hoping we can do that again, of course, in this game here, and we're going to have to. It's the first knockout round. We're taking on Juventus, who I want to say they were very fortunate in the first leg. If we can play our game, we can beat them. It's going to be very much down to the players to step up to the plate and really perform for us. Fitness is pretty good in the entire squad, and we do have a set piece here early on. Ball whipped in, headed away, of course. Juventus lethal from set pieces. It would be nice to perhaps avenge the last game somewhat and score a few of our own goals from set pieces. That said, we're still on the attack here. Gaiganov to Glenn Andre, who fails with that pass, and in the end, it's a nice little header away by Mustafa to deal with it. And we bring the ball forward again. Glenn Andre tries to lay it out wide to Gilvan. Van der Berg now holding up, and it's actually Juventus giving us the ball again. Volsky, Gaiganov, can he whip in a ball of quality? He can. Back post, Sebastian Girard is there. And really, with our first good chance of the game, Sebastian Girard tucks it away. A really nice finish. Gaiganov with the assist, the Ukrainian. A great pass by him there. Just a very deep cross to that back post. Volsky with the ball in. Gaiganov, one touch, picks out a man, crosses it. Girard uses that 20 acceleration to get there and just tucks it away. Never going to miss from there. A yard out on his left foot. And, well, at the moment, it's 2-2. We would be going through on away goals. That said, we kind of want to get another goal. We need to ensure that we get another goal because one goal for Juventus causes us some problems. And, well, if we were to win 2-1 in this game, it would, of course, go to extra time. We do have a set piece here. Gilvan whips it in. A sad near post. That was a clear-cut chance, and it was an opportunity which we've squandered here towards the end of the half. Although we might get another one here. Ball whipped in, cleared away from the corner. Inside Girard. Volsky picks out man Gilvan to Mosca at the back post. Well, it's kind of from the set piece, I guess. It's another kind of a back post cross, really, for us. That ball that time, very different in some ways, I guess. The corner, lots of men in the box. In fact, it wasn't a sad, it was Gilvan with a lovely little flick on, and Mosca tucks it away. He wasn't going to miss himself from there, and, well, the man brandishing the captain's armband there wheels away in celebration. 2-0 up, very good performance, of course, against Juventus last time we met them. I do feel like we were unlucky. At the moment, this is going exactly how I wanted it to. But, you know, one goal for Juventus takes it to extra time. We want to get another goal here. We want to apply the pressure and kind of gives Juventus a scenario where they need 2 goals to get anything from this game. Nice defending there. It's a set piece. We've got a player on a booking. Number 2, don't commit a foul. I think it's Gaiganov there on a booking. He's going to have to be careful. Walter Del Sol, our former man, scored, of course, the winner in the first leg. Assad cuts it out. Gilvan up to Girard. It's a 2-on-2 here. Girard with only Mosca in the middle. Lays it inside to Volsky. Now to Villalba. Cuts it back. Girard. Nice play here. Volsky. No end product, however. And now Juventus. Big ball over the top. Mustafa and Assad linking up well. And, well, the attack goes forward again. And Girard with a real opportunity. It hits the crossbar. It was a great little ball through by Glenn Andre, actually. Perfectly weighted. Looking at it here, Glenn Andre, not having the greatest game, but he is on a 6.8. It's only 16 minutes gone. We don't need to rush into too many subs yet. This game really is kind of playing in our favour. And we're on the attack again. Here's Girard. Lots of men around him. Glenn Andre to Villalba. Girard, near post. He flicks it in. It's a beautiful goal. And, well, Girard that time, not renowned necessarily for his ability in the air, but the ball came to him. Villalba, who's got a little bit of a point to prove perhaps, returning to the side, of course, in January after a first spell many years ago. And, well, he's come in to the side to give us an attacking fullback option when Cabasella and Gaiganov are out. And, well, he's shown us exactly what he's made of right there. It was a beautiful ball in. I'm going to take off Glenn Andre because he is struggling a little bit. I think I'm going to bring in Vinicius, who, of course, is the Brazilian. And we'll see how he gets on. He's another one of our youngsters. Just quickly have a look at him. You can see he's improved a lot. 19 years old, a very, very talented playmaker. 19 vision, 17 passing. Great physicals as well. And we're going to give him a chance in the centre attacking mid-role to see what he can do. Of course, Juve needing 2. We just want to get another ready. We want to put the game beyond doubt. And we have a lot of men forward here. Girard for the hat-trick. Slots it away. Absolutely no nonsense. And, well, it's 4-0 here. And, well, yeah, I feel like this was the result we deserved in the first leg and we didn't get. Juventus throwing men forward. Girard, beautiful touchdown, takes it past his man. The finish was not too bad either. To complete that hat-trick, always great to see a Champions League hat-trick from a player. And even better, I guess, to see Sebastian Girard, the man, to get it. Set piece from Juventus comes in. We've learnt how to deal with it in this game. And we're on the attack again. We want 5. Let's make the other teams in the Champions League scared of us. Mosca, he's through. Can he finish it? He can't. It's a fantastic tackle, actually. by Juventus. A goal-saving tackle, certainly. And it does retain perhaps a little bit of pride for Juventus if there's any left at 4-0. And, well, we're on the attack again. It's not over. There's 20 minutes left. Mini Mosca to Villalba. Can he get the ball in? He can. Mosca should have buried it. Giroud can't get the rebound in either. I mean, we've had 7 clear-cut chances. You'd like to see it's been a little bit more clinical. Mustafa now with a chance too. That's 8 clear-cut chances. It's only 4-0. I decided to persist with the narrower system today. I thought it was the best way to approach the game, and it's kind of rung true, I guess, in a lot of ways. Gaiganov on a booking, we'll take him off. Gilvan struggling for fitness. Let's bring in Junior for him. Junior been out for a little while with an injury. Got a little bit of match fitness through playing in the reserves, however. We'll give him the last 10 minutes here. We still want that 5th. I can see the players really want it. We're on the attack again. Mosca. That was a combination of Gilvan and Giroud. It's Giroud who scored. Gilvan isn't on the pitch anymore. It's 5-0. Giroud's got 4 in the Champions League knockout stages. This is not like against some crappy little team. I mean, we seem to have a good reputation against Italy and Italian sides. I guess a good reputation for us, obviously. We're a little bit infamous in Italy, I guess, after the national team exploits. But here we've given a great performance, and I imagine that's going to be all she wrote for this game. It'd be nice to keep a clean sheet if we could. Juventus maybe going to come forward. They've done nothing this game. They've had 1 shot on target, 2 shots in total. It's been a bit of a boring day out for Ludwig Young, really. Perhaps his second touch of the game there, as well as the ball gets passed back to him. But no, what a great performance this has been. We've made amends for what was a disappointing first leg. I felt like we were very hard done by, but we've come to the Space Park, we've brought them to our own backyard, and we've absolutely annihilated them this game. Juventus don't know what's hit them. It's 5-0, an incredible result. The kind of result that you hope we can really gain some inspiration from going into the latter stages of the Champions League. That result will see us now go into the quarter-finals. And of course, this is the stage coming up where we got knocked out last time. So we've got a little bit of a record to perhaps set straight here. A good win though, 5-0. Really can't complain about that. We get some decent money from that. The fans are absolutely loving it. Giroud with 4 goals. He's not too bad, is he? Right, guys, I'm going to wrap things up here from me for today. In terms of when we'll be back, it'll be for the Champions League quarter-final, which isn't actually that far away. It's only about 2 weeks. So hopefully you guys will stick around for that. Should be a good one. And yeah, other than that, thank you so much for watching as always. It is me, Jack, and yeah, I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.